Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Welcome to our new video. Disclaimer: none of the event mentioned are true. No idol is being harmed in the video, and in many my video and my all videos, no idol doesn't have any type of negative rule. This is a pure fictional story, so don't take it too hard. And don't forget to comment and like. Let's start our video. His love for her screamed that she could never harm a child. Never harm him. But his rage at losing what he believed had been a son twisted his heart into a weapon against her. When Minhi was summoned, her steps were slow, her head bowed, her face pale, yet calm. She looked at Jungkook with eyes that still held only love, though sorrow rimmed them dead. "My king," she whispered, her voice breaking. "I swear on my life, I wish no harm. I have loved no one but you. I would never curse a child, not yours, not hers." Her words trembled in the heavy silence of the court, but they were drowned by the queen's sobbing and the doctor's false declarations. Jungkook stared at her, his jaw clenched, his fist tight at his side. He wanted to believe her, but the image of a son ripped from his grasp, of a legacy buried before its birth, seared him with too much pain. His voice, when it came, was like a blade cutting through both their hearts. "Minhi," he said, his tone cold, "you have betrayed me. You have betrayed this kingdom." She fell to her knees, shaking her head, tears spilling down her cheeks, but he turned his face away, unable to look at her without feeling the sharp sting of loss. The judgment was swift. At the insistence of the ministers and the queen's trembling pleas, Jungkook ordered Minhee to be taken to the palace prison. The words tasted like ash in his mouth, but once spoken, they could not be undone. Guards seized her by the arms, pulling her away as she cried out, "Jungkook, please, my king, believe me, I beg you, for the sake of our daughter." Her voice echoed down the marble hallways as she was dragged into darkness, her sobs fading into the heavy silence that followed. Jungkook sat rigid upon his throne, his chest hollow, his heart twisting with every step she was forced to take away from him. But his face remained stone, for a king could not afford tears when the court demanded blood. The prison was no place for the delicate woman who had once been adorned with silks and jewels, who had once brought laughter to the gardens with her gentle songs. Cold stone walls pressed in around her, damp and unyielding, the air thick with the stench of rot and despair. Shackles clamped around her wrists and ankles, their iron biting into her skin until blood trickled down her arms. The guards, emboldened by the king's judgment and the queen's triumph, showed her no mercy. They struck her when she cried too loudly, mocked her when she begged for water, spat at her when she prayed. Each blow left bruises blossoming across her pale skin, each taunt carving deeper into her heart. She bore it all with trembling lips, whispering only one name over and over in the darkness, her daughter. For Minhi, greatest agony was not her chains, not the pain of her broken body, but the separation from the little girl who was her only light. From the moment she had been dragged away, the queen had decreed that the child must be kept far from her mother's cursed influence. The girl must not be tainted, she told the court, her voice soft but resolute. For her own safety, she must never see that woman again. And so Minhi's daughter was torn from her, carried to another household under the care of servants to the queen. The little girl had cried and reached out her arms, calling for her mother. But the guards, with no hurt, had pulled her away, ignoring the desperation and the pleas in her trembling voices at that time. The sound of her daughter's scream haunted Minhi to the cold nights, echoing in her mind louder than the chains that rattled around her. In the silence of the prison, Minhi wept until her eyes could shed no more tears. She pressed her hands together, her wrists raw from the shackles, and prayed that her daughter would not forget her, that Jungkook would one day see through the lies and rescue them both. She thought of the days when Jungkook had held her gently, when he had sworn that nothing would even harm her, when his love and being her shield against the world. Now that same man had become her judge, her executioner in everything but name, blinded by grief and rage. Yet even as she bled and broke, her heart still whispered his name with love, for she could not tear it from herself, no matter how deeply he had wounded her. Jungkook, alone in his chambers, could not sleep. The image of Minhy's tear-streaked face as she was dragged away haunted him, chasing with the whispers of the court and the queen's fragile cries. His hurt, his ache with guilt, but his pride, his duty, and his fury was everything for him that had drowned it all out. Yet, when he closed his eyes, he saw her holding their daughter, smiling softly, her eyes filled with love. He heard her voice trembling as she swore innocence, and for a moment doubt gnawed at him, threatening to break through the walls he had built. But then the queen would appear, pale and weeping, whispering of her lost son, and the doubt would harden again into anger. Minhi's suffering was whispered of by a few sympathetic servants, the most rejected in her fall. They spoke of the beatings she endured, the hunger that gnawed at her, the way she called out for her daughter. in the dead of night until her voice broke into silence. Some pitied her, others mocked her, but none dare intervene. The queen's power had grown too strong, her hold on the court too tight. Minhi became a ghost within a palace, alive but forgotten. Her name cursed, her presence erased. Her daughter, innocent and small, grew in another household. Her memories of her mother fading with each passing day, replaced by the story whispered into her ears that her mother was dangerous, cursed, and all of them that was being spoken into her ears was that she is unworthy of any type of love. And still in the cold of her cell, Minnie clung to hope. She whispered to the stones, to the shadows, to the heavens themselves, that one day her daughter would know the truth. That Jungkook would awaken from his blindness, that love could survive even his. Her body broke, but her spirit refused to yield. For though she had been stripped of freedom, of dignity, of her child, she held on to the one thing they could not take from her, the love that burned in her heart, unyielding, eternal, waiting for the day when truth would finally shatter the lies. The palace lay under the veil of night, jeweled torches flickering faintly in the corridors, their flames swaying with a restless breeze seeping. Though half opened windows, Jungkook walked the silent halls alone, his thoughts heavy and restless. It had been weeks since Minhi's imprisonment, weeks of sleepless nights haunted by her tear, streaked face as she was dragged away in chains. His heart bore the weight of doubt, yet his mind clung to the narrative woven by his king and ministers that Minhi had cursed the unborn prince, that her jealousy of the child and Jungkook love that was given to him and her had poisoned the bomb. Still, a voice inside him would not be silenced. It whispered every night, questioning the certainty of the judgment he had passed, gnawing at the fragile armor of anger he had built around himself. He told himself if he had done his duty as king, but the word duty tasted better than set against the memories of Minhi's gentle laughter, her devotion, her sacrifice. He had been her protector once, her shield against the cruelty of the court, and now he had become the instrument of her ruin. That night, wandering without purpose, Jungkook found himself near the queen's private chambers. Laughter spilled out from within, high, shrill, tined with drunkenness. He paused, the sound so foreign to his ears. Lady Hyeon was not one to laugh openly, especially not so carelessly. His brows furrowed, curiosity anchoring his feet to the spot. Through the half-open door he glimpsed the queen reclining on her cushions, a goblet of wine tilted in her hand, her maids kneeling nearby with anxious eyes. She was flushed, her composure dissolved by drink, her usual restraint replaced by the reckless of intoxication. "Do you see how easily he believed me?" She blurred, her words roaring like venomous silk. The mighty king, blinded by grief and rage, swallowing every tear, every lie I gave him. And poor Minhi, that pitiful woman, rotting in chains, while I sit upon the throne as a court stool. Jungkook froze, his blood turning to ice. He pressed himself against the wall, straining to hear as his heart thundered in his chest. The queen lifted her goblet, laughing bitterly. "A boy," she sneered. "I told them it was a boy. They lapped it up like starving dogs. The doctors know their place well. Gold speaks louder than truth." And when the child was gone, oh, how perfectly the tale fell into place. Minhi, the cursed concubine, jealous witch, how I wept, how I trembled, and he believed it all. She laughed again, a sound that cut like shattered glass. "It was so easy, too easy. Soon the ministers will beg me to bear another child, and by the time he realizes his mistake, it will be far too late. She will be nothing more than a forgotten shadow, a stain erased from history." The goblet slipped slightly from Jungkook's hand as rage and horror flooded him. His breath came sharp and shallow, his heart clenching with every vile word. For the first time, the whispers of doubt inside him roared into certainty. Minhee had been innocent all along. Every tear, every plea, every bruise she bore in prison, his doing, born of lies he had been too blind to see. The woman he had sworn to love and protect, the mother of his child, had been sacrificed to satisfy the ambition of another. Guilt crashed over him like waves of fire, consuming him until he could barely stand. He staggered back from the door, his fist trembling, his jaw clenched so tightly it ached. But he could not confront the queen yet. He needed proof. He needed truth that could not be denied. Truth that could shatter the lies she had so carefully spun. In the days that followed, Jungkook moved like a shadow within his own palace. He spoke little, listened much, and watched everyone with a piercing gaze. He summoned physicians quietly, questioning them one by one. His tone despitefully calm. Some sluttered, others faltered, but none dared confess outright. Fear of the queen rats sealed their lips tighter than iron locks. But Jungkook was no stranger to deceit, and he caught the tremors in their voices, the flicker of guilt in their eyes. The truth lingered on the edge of every silence that was built around him and her. It was not until he found her, the man maid who had served both Minhi and the queen, that the fragile dam of deception began to crack. She was young, barely more than a girl, but her eyes carried the weight of secrets too heavy for her small frame. Jungkook found her in the servants' corridor, cornered her with a voice low and commanding. "Tell me the truth," he said, his tone leaving no room for defiance. "Every word, every plot, every lie. If you value your life, you will speak now." The maid trembled, her knees buckling as she fell to the floor in a bow. Tears spilled down her cheeks as she whispered, "My king, forgive me, forgive me, for I remained silent too long." Her voice cracked as she revealed everything. The queen's orders to spread rumors of Minhi's jealousy. The bribed physician who had falsely declared the last child a boy. The poison slipped into meals to create the illusion of guts. The servants ordered to frame Minhi's every turn. Each word was a dagger driven into Jungkook's heart. He stood still, his face unreadable, but inside he shattered piece by piece. For everything he was hearing now, he was in a trauma that he could not tell anyone, any person, about it at all. The maid sobbed, filled the corridor, yet he felt anger toward her, only the crushing weight of betrayal and regret. When she finished, Jungkook dismissed her gently, ensuring her protection, for she had risked everything to tell him the truth. Alone once more, he collapsed into a chair, burying his face in his hand. Memories of Minhi flooded him, her soft smile, her whispered prayers, the way she had begged him to believe her. He saw her chained in the cold darkness of the prison, her delicate body beaten, her tears shed for the daughter torn from her arms, and all the while he had turned his back, blinded by the lies of a woman he had never truly loved. His chest heaved with ragged breaths as tears burned his eyes. The proud king reduced to a man broken by his own folly. He could not erase the past. He could not undo the nights when he had spent in torment. The bruises she bore, the humiliation she endured. He would not give back the days she had missed with their daughter. The laughter stolen from her lips, the warmth stolen from her heart. But he could give her the truth. He could give her justice. And he swore with every fiber of his being that he would, with every rising to his feet. His eyes blazed with purpose. The queen had thought her web unbreakable, but the strands were unraveling, and soon the court would see her for what she was. For now, there was only one thing Jungkook longed to do: to go to Minhi, to fall at her feet, to beg her forgiveness, though he knew he did not deserve it, to hold her in his arms once more, if she would allow it, and promise that never again would he let lies come between them. His heart beat with urgency, his steps carrying him toward the prison. Each moment felt like an eternity, each breath a prayer that she still had the strength to hear the truth. For Jungkook had awakened from his blindness, and with it came a regret that would haunt him until his last breath, but also a resolve to fight for the woman he loved, no matter the cost. The iron doors of the prison groaned as they were pushed open, the damp air within heavy with mildew and despair. Jungkook stepped inside, his cloak trailing over the filthy stones that had built in that kingdom. If you want to do any type of promotion with product, then I'm available. You can send me PR package and you can tell others. So I will do this type of promotions. And also don't forget to subscribe my channel. Hope you all guys like the video. Please subscribe, like and share. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for watching my video. And I will make the videos more and more. If you want to do any change in the video, you can ask me in comment section. You guys please comment, subscribe and like my videos. Thank you. That's it. Bye bye. See you soon.